Big Saturday of racing coming up this weekend at Aqueduct, the final Grade 1 of the New York Racing Association year, the Cigar Mile. Best way to play the Cigar Mile in all the stakes, and there are 4 stakes in Saturday card, as always, it's to play through NYRA Bets. Head on over to NYRA Bets. If you are not a member, support racing in New York, play through NYRA Bets. Use the promo code MATCH200 and we will match up to $200 of your initial deposit. The Cigar Mile drew a field of 9, and in a lot of ways it's headed by Performer. And while Performer's never run a Grade 1 before, he does have a Grade 3 win in the Discovery last year, and this is the Discovery here at Aqueduct a little over a year ago. Performer is looking for his 6th straight win. He's been absolutely exceptional. His return to races was delayed this year. Trainer Shug McGaughey was hoping to have him back for the Carter in the beginning of the meet, but those things didn't work out. He came back in October. He had a very nice win with a 98 buyer, but he is a horse with a lot of upside. Performer has not necessarily been in some of his big races as the others in this race, but he's a very, very talented horse. He's installed as the morning line favorite, and he is the horse to beat, but he has some serious competition. Frenzy Fire is a favorite around here, and Frenzy Fire won the Vosburg back at Belmont before a very nice third-place finish in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Frenzy Fire has won at a mile before. He's a very good record a mile. He's 3 for 6. He's won big races at Belmont Park. Now, there is talk that people say he's a better horse at Belmont. I don't know if that's really the case. I just think a lot of the big races he was in was at Belmont Park. He has won at other tracks. He has run big races at other tracks. Frenzy Fire is a true professional, and he is definitely a horse that Performer is going to have to deal with in this race. An interesting entrant is the 3-year-old King Guillermo. Guillermo started out running on the dirt and not running well, and he switched to the turf, and he had a very big win and a nice performance in a stake where he was 3rd. They took a shot in the Tampa Bay Derby, and that shot turned out to be the right one. At 49-1, he looked like he should have been even money the way he dispensed the field. A 99 buyer in March as a 3-year-old. This is a very, very talented horse. He finished a good second behind Nadal, who could have been one of the favorites in the Triple Crown race had he not been hurt after that race at Oaklawn. King Guillermo has been laid up, and he comes back in a very, very tough spot to be coming back in almost a 7-month layoff. But do not deny his talent. And King Guillermo, a very interesting player. Jose Ortiz has the mount. Let's talk about the New York-bred Mr. Buff. And he is the one they're all going to have to catch in this race. Mr. Buff has run some very big races before, and the one-turn mile at Aqueduct could make him dangerous. He has a win in the Haynesfield with a career-best 106 buyer by 20 lengths at Aqueduct. Now, his year didn't go necessarily as planned, but he just wasn't up to the task in some of those big races against the big boys, but he returned in the Empire Classic, and he showed he can still run. Can he get back to those big figures? That's the question. And can he do it against a field as tough as this one? Other players, True Timber, Snapper Sinclair, and Mind Control, who won a Grade 1 as a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old, and still looking for that one as a 4-year-old. Performer's the one to beat, but this Cigar Mile is one you do not want to miss. There are other excellent stakes in the card, including 2 for 2-year-olds, starting out with the Remsen. The Remsen, we're running it early in the card. It's race number 4 on our 10-race card. And the Remsen drew 5 horses. I would say, in my opinion, it's headed by the 1-2 finishers in the Nashua. And we'll take a look at Pickin' Time, picking up 10 for 10. Pickin' Time for Kelly Breen. Barn always seems to do well, especially at Aqueduct, but even at New York throughout the year. Pickin' Time picked up 10 for 10. Now, 10 for 10 has a big win when he broke his maiden 2 back on a sloppy sealed track, and there is expected to be some rain, so that won't hurt him. And 10 for 10 is also the speed in here, and I don't think he's going to face as tough a face as he faced in the Nashua. You look at this race, he fought back gamely. Pickin' Time was good. He had a very good trip. I think 10 for 10, maybe the horse to beat near. He may not be favored for trainer Shug McGaughey, but I am a fan. But they all have to take on a horse who has the experience at Aqueduct and has it around 2 turns, the same distance as the Remsen, and that's Known Agenda. Known Agenda broke his maiden over another Shug McGaughey runner named Greatest Honor, and they put on a show this day at Aqueduct. 79 buyer in his second start, going 9 furlongs. A 2-year-old is nothing to sneeze at. Known Agenda gets the bob, and he beats out Greatest Honor in a very strong duel. I was wondering if Shug McGaughey might run back Greatest Honor, but he's running 10 for 10 instead. He's got a very good entrant in here as well. These are good horses. I don't know about Known Agenda. He's probably going to be favored. They made him the morning line favorite. For what it's worth, off of maiden wins in dirt routes and graded stakes, Trainer Todd Pletcher's just 1 for 32 over the last 5 years, so a lot of horses like Greatest Honor, and there were many short prices, did not come back and repeat those performances. And I think he'll have to beat both Pick and Time, 10 for 10, and even Brooklyn Strong, who's coming into this race off a win against New York breds, going a mile at Belmont in the Sleepy Hollow. Let's head down to race number 9 and the other big 2-year-old race, and this is the race that precedes the Cigar Mile, and we're talking about the Demoiselle. Todd Pletcher, a very strong hand in both of these races, and he has the big favorite, Malathot, in today's Demoiselle. She was very good in both of her starts. She won a tough maiden race. She came back this $1 million yearling purchase and proved her worth when she was a facile winner of the Tempted, winning by almost 8 lengths under Kendrick Carmouche. He was dubbing for John Velasquez, who was riding the Breeders' Cup. Johnny rode her in her maiden race, and he is back aboard. This horse, the Dam, Dreaming of Julia, a very good runner. A Curlin distance is not supposed to be a problem for Malathot, and she is absolutely the horse to beat. Shug McGahee brings back Cafe Society, who couldn't handle her in here, dropping back to finish 3rd, but I think she'll run better. I don't think Shug would run her if he didn't feel that her performance in the Tempted was a bit of an aberration. Perhaps a little more time between starts will work well for her. But they all have to beat the horse named for the treat, the Napoleon, Mille Foil. Trying to get that one right. This is the runner for Belmont, another daughter of Curlin, and she broke her maiden quite easily going a mile at Belmont, and she really feels like a horse who's moving forward, and perhaps she could prove Belmont's 2nd straight Demoiselle winner. Last year, he won this race decisively with Lake Avenue. Mille Foil going out for Juddmonte Farm. She seems like the biggest threat to Malathot. There are others. Malibu Curl seems a little bit interesting for Tommy Albertrani, but I think mostly it's Malathot and Mille Foil. They'll be the two big favorites in this race, and they are the ones to beat. There's one other stake on the card, and race number 6, the Go for Wand, racing named for one of the greatest fillies that ever raced, really in my lifetime, and raced a lot of her races in New York tracks. The Go for Wand's the flat mile, and hey, Todd Pletcher, he's got a big horse in this race as well, Nona Madeline. She may have found the right field. Nona Madeline ran sort of mediocrely last time out when she finished 3rd in the Turn Back the Alarm, but she still probably ran well enough to win this race. We're going back to Saratoga. Always like to be at Saratoga, and taking a look at her win in the Summer Colony. She was good this day, battling Golden Award the entire way around the track, a fast pace, and she drew off. Nona Madeline may have found her friends in the Go for Wand, and she is very much the one to beat. If you ask yourself, is she tailing off? Well, I don't know. I thought she ran very well when she won the Ladies' Secret at Monmouth 2 starts back, and maybe she was involved in a pretty quick pace last time, or a pace that relatively quick, I should say, that fell apart. And she ran well enough, but she has competition in Sharp Star. I don't think there's much question. If Sharp Star can run back to this race at Aqueduct, at a flat mile, same distance as the Go for Wand, she could beat Nona Madeline, and she is the clear 2nd choice to me in this race. Sharp Star got a 101 buyer. It was a breakout performance. What do you do with it? Can you trust her to run back to it? Because none of her prior efforts make her even mildly competitive with Nona Madeline. Is Sharp Star, the New York bred, a new horse? Well, her trainer, Horatio DePaz, is going to find out. In the Grade 3 Go for Wand, Nona Madeline and Sharp Star are the 2 major players. The Cigar Mile card is always a good one. A 10-race card, first post at $11.50. The Cigar Mile, the last race. You can watch all of those races on America's Day at the races as well, or at least the late races, I should say, the Demoiselle and the Cigar Mile. And as always, you want to play through NYRA Bets. Support racing in New York. Play through NYRA Bets. Use the promo code MATCH200, and we will match the $200 of your initial deposit. And also, playing through NYRA Bets and playing through the app only, if you hit a $25 win bet on the Cigar Mile, you will earn a $20 bonus playing through the app only. Just more of the good things available on NYRA Bets. Enjoy the final Grade 1 of the New York Racing Association year, the Cigar Mile, this Saturday.